Good day, viewers. My name is Tunde Odunlade, an artist, a curator, and an historian. I run Tunde Odunlade Arts and Culture Connection Gallery on Ladoke, Akintola, New Bodija, Ibadan. I congratulate everyone watching me on this day, Africa Day, May 25, 2026. Africa Day celebration takes place on May 25, as I earlier said. What part of what actually informed the need for Africa Day is for us Africans to at least come together, for we Africans to see ourselves as one. And so that's part of what geared Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in 1958 to gather some countries together with the representatives of from Ghana, Ethiopia, Libya, Morocco, Sudan, Tunisia, and Egypt. They all gathered to mark the progress of liberation. And this day, April 15, was initially established as African Freedom Day for African liberation. 5 years later, on May 25, 1963, leaders from 32 independent African nations met in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to establish Organization of African Unity, known as OAU. The historic charter was signed that day, with the primary goals being to promote the unity and solidarity of African states, to coordinate and intensify cooperation for a better life for the people of Africa, to eradicate all forms of colonialism from the continent of Africa. Following the establishment of the OAU African Unity Day was officially moved to May 25 and renamed Africa Day in July 2022. The OAU transformed into Modern African Union in Durban, South Africa, but the May 25 observance remained to honor the Foundation's 1963 Pan-African spirit. Today, Africa Day is celebrated globally by Africans and the diaspora to recognize the continent's achievements, confront shared socio-economic challenges, and advocate for continuous progress under the overarching frameworks like the AU's, as Organization of African Union is now referred to, African Union, AU. For Agenda 2063. For an inspiring look at the deep history, size, and rich heritage of the continent. That's what all of this is geared towards. As it will happen, May 25, 2006, Africa Day was celebrated in grand style, like it has never been done before. At the Union Station in Washington, D.C., when countries from all over Africa gathered to celebrate Africa Day. And I was the chosen artist to exhibit my works. If anyone is familiar with Union Station in Washington, D.C., you know how big that hall is. I had all my works exhibited all over the hall, as big as it is. Union Station has at least not less than 1 million people pass through. People who are coming to catch the train, the Amtrak or other trains, the buses, going to different parts of the country, they pass through Union Station. So they all got to see the celebration of Africa Day, as it were. Africa Day, May 25, is a day all of us Africans must remember that we are not just, anybody. We are a force to be reckoned with. We contribute largely to the economic, to the cultural, and if you like, political development of the world. So we should not be left aside in the global polity. And that's why the day, May 25, is specifically chosen for us Africans to celebrate ourselves in grand style. You will recall that it was in 1966 when the first World Black Festival of Arts and Culture was celebrated in Senegal, when Léopold Sédar Senghor hosted it in Dakar. In the early 60s, the need for us Africans to begin to appreciate ourselves the more got on the rise. When some scholars of negritude met in France and then carefully examined the culture of we people of color, African people. And these people who gathered then, the likes of Léopold Sédar Senghor, Art César, and of course, it was at that point that the movement, the black movement in America was like on the rise and was coming to a point when the Africans were going to get their freedom. So it was easy for the likes of W.B. Du Bois, to join hands with their counterparts in France, and they came up with this idea of celebrating the people of Africa in grand style. That is, looking at our culture, our economy, our, everything that makes us as a people. Here is the story. Africa is not the future as it stands now. Africa is now. Don't be deceived that Africa is the future. Africa is the future. Africa is now. And so, this is part of what informed why Festac, as you will recall, was celebrated in Dakar. And it was planned that every five years, Festa will be celebrated in all African countries. Don't forget, it wasn't just the African countries that came together to celebrate Festac. Other countries around the world where black people are, and tell me a country in the world where there are no black people. They all came together to celebrate Festac in 1966 in Dakar. And another 5 years was going to be Nigeria, So that means it was going to be 1971. But due to all the crises we had, you know, the Civil War, the this, the that, so that was then truncated FESTAC from happening in Nigeria. And it was said to be that, okay, in 1975, again, it didn't come through because of our political situation in the country at the time. And so in 1977, our Baba, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, who was the head of state of Nigeria at the time, celebrated FESTAC in grand style. Over 100 countries came to Nigeria to celebrate FESTAC. And again, it was supposed to be every 5 years, like I said. It was supposed to be 1975 before it was again shifted to 1977. So the next one was going to be in Ethiopia, 1980. But because of the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea, again, it was cancelled. And unfortunately, ever since then, FESTAC, you will say, died a natural death. But as fate we have it, in 2022, one Nigerian by the name of Engineer Yinka Abioye reenacted FESTAC, that we shan't continue to fold our arms and look. We shan't continue to behave like we don't have culture. We shan't continue to behave as if Africa is not one. So, he reenacted FESTAC. And in 2022, it was celebrated in Tanzania, in Arusha. Then in 2023, FESTAC was also celebrated in the same Tanzania, in Zanzibar. Then the following year, it was celebrated in Kisumu, Kenya. That was 2024. In 2025, it was celebrated in Accra. And this year, 2026, FESTAC again is going to be celebrated in Senegal, Dakar. Don't forget, the first FESTAC was in 1966. Now, this is 2026, meaning that FESTAC will be 60 years for the first time it was celebrated in Dakar. So that's why it's easy to say this year FESTAC will be celebrated in Dakar, Senegal, in part to immortalize the great African who initiated to celebrate FESTAC in his country in 2026. And I'm talking in person of President Leopold Sedar Senghor. Next year, FESTAC is coming to Nigeria, and it will make 50 years that the first FESTAC was celebrated in Nigeria. So, activities, it's ongoing to ensure that we celebrate FESTAC in 2027 in Lagos, again in grand style. If you'd like to know more, you can come to the gallery, Tunde Odulade Arts and Culture Connection Gallery, to find out more about how you can participate in this year's FESTAC or the one coming up next year in Nigeria. Everyone is all welcome. Ignore that conspiracy theory that says Festac is the genesis of our problem in this country. No. If anything at all, not taking to all the goodies in Festac is perhaps why we Nigerians find ourselves in the situation we do, that we're not trying to throw it back to Festac. And what are those things Festac promises? It promises unity among people of color around the world. It promotes our culture in grand style. It promotes our economical well-being. It promotes our political well-being. And it encourages the need for us Africans to see ourselves as one. Why do I need to get visa to go to any African country? Why does any African citizen have to get a visa to come to Nigeria? In Europe, the Schengen visa will take you to God knows how many countries once you have the Schengen visa. Why can't that be for Nigeria as well? For Africa as well. If you have one visa, then you can use it to go to any African country. It's that unity that Festac should have brought to us, had it been we did not truncate it. We did not bring in our sentiments, our conspiracy theory. It was because they brought all the orishas around the world. That's why Festac, that's why Nigeria is suffering. No. It's because all the benefits they are in Festac, we ignored it stupidly. So Festac is that symbol of unity that all Africans must embrace. So therefore, you children that are celebrating today, I'm encouraging you to start thinking that who am I? Start asking, what is my culture? What is my identity? Who am I as an African? Who am I as a Nigerian? And who am I as a Yoruba? Who am I as an Hausa person? Who am I as an Igbo? Or who am I as a Beriberi? When you ask questions from your parents, and your parents are able to give you all the positive answers, not all these negative minds that the white man has made us to start, thinking, then you will see that from there on, you will be progressive. You will be respected by the people who told you that you don't have culture. Your culture is barbaric. Your culture is it's idolatry. No, our culture is vibrant. I'm proud to be a Yoruba. I'm proud to be a Nigerian, and I'm proud to be an African. So I want you children start thinking, and God in his infinite mercy shall continue to help you all, and you shall all become greater and greater in life. Africa is now. My name is Tunde Odunlade. Till we see again. Thank you.